Raj Katecha from MediaTek Social here at WebSummit in Dublin, Ireland. Andy McLoughlin, how you doing from Huddle?
I'm doing well, thank you. Been a long day, but yeah, enjoyed it.
It's all right, you know, Leicester boy done good. Now out here on the big international scene. How are things in San Francisco?
Things are good, yeah. I mean, it's been, obviously one of my friends is working with, like one of your friends working with us as well. Yeah. So it's going great. You know, we've gone from 2 people to 5 people. We've got about 50 or so people in the US now, so growing really well. I mean, still headquarters in London though, have about 115, 120 people there. So yeah, I can't complain. Things have been good to us.
And rumours are that you're going to be giving up the most valuable piece of real estate in Tech City. You're going to be moving on, like, getting a bigger premises in London as well?
Well, actually, we're not giving it up. I mean, we've outgrown it anyway, but the actual building, which is a piece of kind of Tech City history, is being demolished early next year. So every single tenant is actually being thrown out on December the 24th. It's like a very Dickensian startup Christmas story.
Yeah. It's got a kind of Scrooge McDuck kind of feel to it.
Exactly, that's all right.
Yeah. So tell me, what's going on? I mean, what's interesting to you in terms of like product developments and so on right now?
What, you mean at Huddle or just generally?
Huddle.
Okay, I mean, so for Huddle, it's really all about ubiquity, and that means, making sure that the guys that use Huddle, our enterprise customers, our government customers, we're making sure that we're getting the content to them, all the kind of project management stuff to them, wherever they are on whatever device they're using. So that means providing great apps for iOS, for Android, mobile HTML5, great apps for the desktop, and then like a superb kind of web app experience as well. So, in many ways, it actually means taking features away rather than putting new features in. Like most companies, as we've grown up, we put a feature in for someone and then one for somebody else. And now, as we're kind of really thinking about how do we take this from being a good business or a great business to an amazing business, it's really kind of about being even more focused than we already are.
And American entrepreneurs, particularly businesses that would be using your service, they're quite vocal in terms of what they want. So how has your product trajectory changed since you've expanded in America?
Well, we've had to get better at saying no, right? And what we've had to make sure we got better at is A, saying no, but also B, delivering systems at scale even better. I mean, one of the great things is, we're holding ourselves up to the gold standard in terms of software delivery, user experience, and and if you're providing software that's in any way kind of not quite adequate, the Americans will let you know about it. And what that's meant is, deep investment into product management, deep investment into design, and deep investment into like hiring engineers, all of whom are based here in Europe, actually in London. So San Francisco is our outward-facing kind of marketing, PR, sales, and kind of founder office. But the real engine room of the company, where the magic actually happens, is still London in the UK.
Cool. So you're down here on the ground at a ground level, obviously checking out all the exhibitions and talks and being interviewed yourself. What are your observations of Web Summit 2013 and what are your predictions for 2014?
So, I mean, the first thing is I just couldn't believe how big it was. I mean, I remember talking to Paddy about the Web Summit probably 3 years ago, and I reckon it was probably like 50 people in a room, in a pub, drinking Guinness somewhere. And you look at it now, and the sheer scale of the operation is mind-blowing. The fact that at any one time there are probably 5 different talks. At any one time in the evening, there's probably 10 different parties going on. Just shows you kind of how Europe is really embracing the kind of this whole kind of startup boom. For next year, I mean, I can only assume it's going to get better. They might have 20,000 people here, and I think as well, you've seen a few hardware startups here this year. I would expect to see that like boom next year. More kind of Internet of Things, more mobile, and really, more of Europe just showing kind of, we can build really, really great companies.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, I mean, looking at the industry over a number of years, the sense of European pride and accomplishment has certainly stepped up, 3, 4, 5 times now that we've got, real companies to brag about, and certainly yours is one of them. How do you find competing in the US with, I mean, obviously your space is not, it's not completely barren. There's quite a lot of noise in your space, a lot of companies that are doing their thing. How do you find competing at the level you're competing at now? Because you are one of the success stories. You are one of the big boys. Does that change you from a CEO's perspective? Does it feel a lot more pressure?
Well, I mean, I think maybe in terms of like the UK scene, we're one of the big boys. But you compare us to a lot of companies in the US, and we are still a very couple of hundred people. It's actually quite a small business. So what we've had to do is, and I talked about this in my keynote earlier today, it's all about focus, right? We are not big enough to fight every single battle, for every single customer in every single industry. So we have to be very selective about going after the companies in the segments of the sizes that we can win. And that means sometimes, saying no to customers who we'd love to have on board, but simply they don't match the ideal company profile. They're hard to maintain, and that they may churn out, whereas when we're focused on the kind of businesses we know that we can win, we do really, really well. And what that means is you nail one sector, and then you nail another sector, and then you nail another, and before you know it, you've built that, that magical billion-dollar business, which is something that all of us are striving towards.
Fantastic. Well, Andy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today at MediaTekSocial.com. Hope you enjoy the Dublin Web Summit. You can find out more about Huddle in the link in our YouTube channel, so please subscribe for more, or in the text part of our blog. Andy, hope you have a great trip, have a safe journey home, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, mate.
Take care. Thanks for checking out MediaTek Social. We'll see you next time.